Hello, it's Chrissy, and I wanted to share what I made with the August 2025 Dollar BeadBox subscription. So I got the Dollar BeadBox monthly subscription as well as the check glass bundle, where you get 8 strands as an add-on, and you'll get 4 3mm and 4 4mm strands. So I didn't do an unboxing. I'm just going to share the pieces that I made out of all the different beads that came in the box. So here's the first one. It's a really long necklace, and it features the different beads from the actual subscription box, and then some of the smaller beads, 3 and 4mm, from the dollar bead bag. The only things that I added were these pink check glass peach colored coin beads. I did string everything on the bone 45 strand medium soft flex wire, and I used 6mm 24 karat gold plated over stainless steel jump rings. So I really liked all the different beads in this one. And I tried to keep it a little bit more eclectic and simple, but I also tried to use as many beads as I could from the actual box itself. So we've got some of those really pretty light bluish tealy melons with some gold wash in the grooves there. I really like these beads that kind of look like they have ripples, and it is a really pretty bluish teal. And then I use these little teal teardrops. And then these really sweet little daggers. And in between are my gold seed beads that I like to use as spacers everywhere. And then one of the little design sections are the daggers, the peach coin, and then the daggers. And another section is this, I think it's called a peeled olive, with the teal little drops, and then the larger half teal, half gold washed check glass beads. And then we have this guy, I can't remember what he's called, but he is a turquoise, very flat coin. Well, he's more of an oval, kind of like a starburst pattern on him. And then moving up, we just repeat some of those same beaded bead pattern sections, and then we go into the back of the necklace, which are just the 4mm and then the larger half teal gold washed beads. And then I added these smaller matte turquoise 3mm beads, just a little, I felt like a little variation in the pattern, and gave it, and before I didn't have these matte turquoise, and it just seemed a little bit too like metallic-y, I needed a little matte and a little pattern variation to break up all of the sparkle in the back. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, I think it added a really nice change in texture in the back. So there's the necklace. And then I also did 3 bracelets. Using all the beads again from the bead box. The only actual bead that didn't come in that box, sorry I didn't mention earlier, was this peach coin. And this one came from Sam's bead shop. All right, here is the first bracelet that I made. And it's using these arabesque check glass beads, and then a lot more of the little blue teardrop, top drilled glass teal beads. And then I did use one extra olive peeled bead right there. So I did 3 bracelets with this to be worn together. And then here's the second one. And this one I pulled in the peach and used the little baby daggers on this one. I really like the pattern on this. I like the way the daggers just do what they want to do, but when they're on the wrist, they're going to lay flat. And they're going to just kind of be free and lay the way they want to lay. And then the third bracelet I made with this is this sweet little flower bracelet. And I actually really like the kind of monotone colors of this one. So we have the really pretty gold washed flower, and then some pretty 3mm and a 4mm spacer beads, and then these pretty transparent with a little bit of blue, and then the gold wash that sits inside of the engravings there of these melon beads. So yeah, these 3, I would wear them together, and then the longer necklace. And I just had a lot of fun with this box. I wanted to make a pair of earrings with you guys to go with the necklace and bracelet trio. Here is the design for the earring that we're going to make together. I made this one off camera as our example. It has 3 6mm Lucerna bicones in teal. I'm going to change the angle. Maybe you can, oh, I like that angle a little bit better. In between our 6mm bicones, we have 3mm teal round check glass beads. We have a matte turquoise bead, 1 on each of the sections, and then we have 3 teal check glass fire polish beads. And I have 2 different colors in here to give it a little bit of tone variance. So, whoop, we almost spilled that, or I did. So here are all the pieces. I've got some, oh, and then in between the links themselves, I initially did link them together, but then for a little bit more articulation in between the links, I did add a 6mm 24-karat plated stainless steel jump ring. And I noticed that it added, the jump ring added just enough space in between our teal bicone and then the next one, so that these dangles weren't crowding, and so you just have this really nice, you have the visibility to kind of see all the different pieces articulate beautifully. The other thing I was thinking is that if you did this, you could continue and not just do earrings, but look at how beautiful it would be if you did this as a bracelet. You could continue the links and you know, make a bracelet, a link bracelet, or even a necklace with this. So what I used was 5, 4, and 3 in the different colors of the 3mm beads to achieve this look. You can go with any color palette. You can do these all one color. That would be very pretty as well. So I did go ahead and I wire wrapped all of the different color 3mm beads. I left one for us to do together, and then we're going to be wrapping the 6mm bicones together as well. Project. I used 24 gauge gold soft flex wire. What else are we going to use? We're going to be using round nose pliers, chain nose pliers, and flush cutters, and then also maybe another set of chain nose pliers for opening and closing your jump rings. If you don't have that, that's fine. You can also use a jump ring opener. Oh no. Okay, leave it to me to drink a little sip of coffee and then spill it on my keyboard and mat. All right, I'm gonna drink another little sip though. Okay, let's have no more spills of the coffee and let's get going. Okay, let's finish these three smaller 3mm beads first. Then we'll connect all the links together. Okay. So I've got my 3 beads on here, and when I was actually doing these off camera, I had them all. I put all the beads on the spool. So I like to go down, I like to just like eyeball where I go down, but it's probably about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches. I'm going to bend the wire down so that it does create this right angle. One of the things I noticed for creating really pretty wire wrap loops, or I guess just simple loops, is that when you make your bend, you do need to reposition your pliers. You're going to put them at an angle. So this is how I made the bend, and then you're going to put them at an angle where they do rest, excuse me, where they rest in this nook that you, is that the right word? In this bend that you made. So now that I have it rotated very slight, at a slight angle, and it's really hard to see on camera, but I hope that you saw it when I did turn the angle of the pliers. And then we're going to wrap the wire towards us. And then I will turn it again to the side. So now you can see the loop. Okay, we're going to take it off, and I'm going to grab pliers. I'm going to make sure that this loop looks really nice before we start our wire wraps. Okay, so we are right here, and I'm going to do our wire wrap loop, or not loop though, the wire wrapping piece of it. This is a very small gauge wire, so I am going to do a few loops to make sure it's secure. I do like to do about 3 or 4. I would say a minimum 2 is good. I like to tighten it up there just so it has a really nice and tight wire wrapping. And then you get a really pretty, even wire wrap there. I'm just going to take the flush cutters and cut the wire close to, be in focus? Cut it close to the wrap. Okay. Holding on to that piece so it doesn't go on a little journey in your office or room. And then I'm going to just press down that pokey bit. And there is our finished product. I'm going to grab one bead. I'm going to pull it down. You know, and I would say that the loop is probably about a 3mm loop at the end. It's about the same size as our bead. Okay, so for this, I am going to do a very simple head pin. I'm going to flip this around again so it's not pulling at me. Doing maybe double the width of the 3mm bead, so I guess that's 6mm. I'm going to cut away from the main spool. And this is what we have now. I'm going to take the end. I'm going to bend a little simple loop at the bottom. I guess it depends on how much wire I have, but that looks like that worked really well. So we're just going to do a little loop as our head pin. And I am just straightening that wire out. I'm going to give it a teeny tiny teeny tiny squeeze here to make sure that the wire, the end of our loop is fully closed. Okay. I'm just going to grab it and give it a little work hardening, which just means to, which means not to squeeze your bead, but your metal. And then I'm just going to make sure that it's nice and straightened out. And there's one of our dangles. We have 2 more dangles. I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to put the 6mm bicone on. And for this one, I'm going to go up definitely a little more than 1/3. And I did wire overwrapped loops on this too. So I'm going to go up probably 2 inches. I'm going to bend away, reposition the pliers into that bend, pull it towards me. All right, that's looking better. Before I do the wire wrapping on this, I'm going to add 4 dangles. For this, I'm going to grab 2 of these, 1 of the second color, and then 1 matte. So we're going to put on a matte one, and then, let's see here, I think I'm going to go with, so each one of the sections would have 4 dangles. All right, I've got 4 on. Now I'm going to close the loop. And very carefully do our 3 wraps. Okay. Whoa. Okay, well, be careful. I just broke off the end of the wire there. So now we have that dangle. I'm going to bring the bicone down. And I am going to give myself plenty of room here now, probably at least 3 inches. All right. So we're going to add on our jump ring. Oh, first we're going to make our loop though. Okay, we're going to bend away and then around. Oh my gosh, that's much better. Just make sure we're nice and centered. And then I'm going to open this loop. Add the jump ring before I wire wrap it down. Okay, we're going to try and get 3 wraps on here, or maybe 4. Make sure we're nice and straight. Cut off our extra, and just press that, the end, the end of our cut down, so it's not poking out. And that looks really good. I like that. There. And now, getting ready for the very last section. Okay, let's make sure that we don't forget to load all of our dangles. Oh, he escaped. Okay. Whoa. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, just flip him. Okay. And then 2 more dangles. All right, so now we've got the 2 dangles, the jump ring and 2 dangles. Let's close this one. I'm gonna grab the loop, and we're gonna do our 3 loop, or we're gonna wrap 3 times. 2 and 3. Oh, am I wrapping over? I think I'm wrapping over. There we go. He got stuck on top. Okay. And this one, not as tight as I like, so I'm gonna just try and get in there and squish the loops so they can sit nicely on top, one on top of each other. Okay. And then we're gonna cut the extra wire away. And make sure to press in that cut end. Okay. And then we're going to bring the top of our go into the last section of our earring. Oh, I'm gonna fiddle with this just a bit. Okay, is that sitting nicely? Does it look okay? Okay, so now we're going to do our very last wrap, connect it to this top jump ring, and we're going to cut away from the spool. Okay. We're going to bend away, turn the pliers slightly, bend the wire towards us, and make sure we get our jump ring on. Open the loop if you need to. Close the loop and grab the loop, and then we're going to go do our three wraps. This looks like that's going to be pretty tight. Oh no, we can do it. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, oops, that's not my wire cutters. Okay, we're going to cut the wire, and we're going to just press that new freshly cut end down to make sure that it's not poking up. And there we go, it's all done. I think it turned out super sweet. It's really light. It has a lot of movement. And it's a lot of fun to wear because I was wearing one of them this morning around the house. And now I can wear two. But there we go. Let's see here. Perfectly with our other the rest of our design here. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, so now we have our necklace, our 3 bracelets, and our very, very dangly earrings. All right, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you play with some of your beads, try something out. Maybe try these fun dangling earrings out. It'll really help with the wire wrapping. And oh my gosh, I have to play with them again. All right. All right, well, thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.